Welcome, everybody, to the Season 5 finale of the Bison Overtime Show. I'm Grant Hubbard alongside Ethan Eibach. And Ethan, to celebrate our last show before the semester ends, we're going back to our roots. Top 10 Bison football stuff.
Yeah, it's always a grind to grind out one of these videos. This one was a little less difficult and didn't have to go to the archives too much for these.
For one you did, but not for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Before we tackle that, though, we have to talk about what the renowned FCS stats reporter Craig Haley, he released his top 25 a day or so ago. So put that up behind us when you can, fellas. There's the top 25 on the screen. I'll just read it real fast. Bison 1, Montana State 2, Incarnate Word 3, South Dakota 4, Jax 5, Illinois State 6, Rhody 7, Montana 8, Villanova 9, Tarleton State 10, Sacramento State 11, Lehigh 12, Idaho 13, Mercer 14, UC Davis 15, SIU 16, Monmouth 17, Southern Utah 18, Stony Brook 19. Dare I say these words? Tennessee Tech is 20. Western Carolina, my apologies, 21. Jackson State 22. Harvard 23. Stephen F. Austin 24. And Abilene Christian 25. What?
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't know. And I think you got the first 5 right.
Yeah.
After that, it's kind of a mystery to me. I think the back 10 teams, I think he just started writing down names because some of these teams haven't been good in a long time or ever.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time Tennessee Tech was good. Stony Brook hasn't done anything besides a couple of big wins here and there in the last 10 years. Southern Utah hasn't been good in 7 years, or whatever it's been.
Yeah. Here to know about Stony Brook, our good friend Sam Niederman, he did games at Stony Brook before he came here. That's what I really know about Stony Brook right now. And they think they beat JMU a couple moons ago. That's all I know about Stony Brook, okay? I have some thoughts. First of all, Illinois State at 6. Why? Okay, I get it. Their star running back got hurt against Iowa and didn't play the rest of the year, so I get it. But again, the Bison beat them 42-10 on the road. Are you telling me that running back would have made up for the difference in that game? I'm going to go with no on that one. Let's see what else. I would honestly bump Sacramento State up, okay?
Yes.
I get it. It's a lot of hype surrounding them. The president has been talking to FBS. They're talking to FBS. I get it. They got a big recruit from Georgia to be their quarterback. I understand all that. They should be higher for now. Put them at like 6. I think 6, put them there, and if they beat South Dakota State, I bow down and you should be a top 3 team. I get it.
Yeah, like I said, the top 5, you can really put them in whatever order you want, as long as the Bison are 1.
The Bison are 1, and after that, do whatever you want.
But I think 6 through 10, you really screwed up. I think Sacramento State should be 6 for now. Idaho maybe could be higher, you never know. Rhode Island should not be 7. Illinois State should not be 6, because, like you said, they lost by 32 to the Bison.
Yeah.
Lehigh at 12?
Yeah.
Why?
The only thing I know about Lehigh, I was barely old enough to remember this. They came to the Fargo Dome in 2011 for a quarterfinal game.
Yeah.
They got shut out 24-0. That's all I know about Lehigh and the Mountain Hawks. They have a great nickname. That's all I know about Lehigh. Okay. Let me see what else. Southern Utah. I don't even know what conference they're in at this point. They've been shifting conferences for the last 5 years. And also, the last time they made the playoffs, I want to say, was the Big Sky. Was when they won the Big Sky title back in 2017.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Southern Utah is anywhere in this top 25.
Yeah, I can't. Some of these teams, I can't even remember them making the playoffs, period. But yeah, kind of a joke. But Mercer and UC Davis, I mean, they were in the quarterfinals. They could be a little higher. Obviously, the portal kind of gutted both of them. But I've heard Mercer should be back in the mix again.
Yeah, that's safe to say.
They should probably be top 12.
Last couple teams here. Western Carolina, they were very hyped going into last season.
Yeah.
They had a tough schedule, which doesn't help them. They went to Montana during their schedule. Also, I love having Harvard in the top 25. I love it because this is the first year that the Ivy is eligible for the postseason. At least the presidents have finally fallen back and then say, okay, we'll let you play in the playoffs. And we'll see how long it lasts before they say, yeah, this isn't really for us. We'll see how long that lasts. They rounded out with Stephen F. Austin and Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian put up a great fight here in Fargo, so I'm fine with them being in here. Stephen F. Austin, the last time again, this is how much of nerds we are. The last time Stephen F. Austin was anywhere near relevant, let's see, George H. Walker Bush was the president, and they played in a national title game that was vacated later on.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think of Stephen F. Austin. But anyways, that's Craig Haley's top 25. We just want to tell you about that quick. All right. Let's move on to our list. Before we roll the clips, let's just go through our criteria a little bit. The criteria was, it's not much of a criteria, but we talked about this over the weekend last week when we talked about it. So the criteria was, it has to be memorable, there has to be some kind of stakes, and if we have some personal favorites or not. Because I know I have some favorites in here, you have some favorites in here. This is gonna be fun to unveil here.
Yeah, and like if there's like a 70-yard just insane run by Trey Lance or something against Western Illinois, that's not getting on here.
No.
It's got to be a big game. It's got to have some type of, like, you're playing a big team in a playoff game maybe. Trey Lance is on here, not to throw anything at him, but yeah, the criteria, I think we had a good kind of outline.
And to the D2 people who jump in our comments, there is some stuff in here for you as well. So get out of the comment section, it's coming. Let's roll the highlights, fellas, for the offense. The top 10 offensive plays, a couple honorable mentions to highlight before we get into the top 10. The first honorable mention, Carson Wentz in the 2014 national title game against Illinois State. Little 5-yard touchdown run on 1st and goal to win the 4th straight national title.
Yeah, not exactly the most flashy play, but I mean, the game, one of the greatest games you'll ever watch, and it's probably Carson Wentz's signature play.
Yeah, he audibled, this was meant to be a pass, he audibled it to a run and called the quarterback power. So that's one of the plays he's most known for. Another honorable mention, John Crockett's 80-yard touchdown run versus Iowa State. It's nothing special, but it's against a Big 12 team, 80 yards, 1 cut, see ya.
Yeah, that's just John Crockett in a nutshell. 1 cut and he's gone. He is one of the greatest players we've ever seen at NDSU, and I mean, this put them back in the game. I mean, they're down 14 rip at this point.
The Bison scored 34 unanswered in that one to beat Iowa State convincingly. Not a Cyclone laying a hand on him in the entire picture there. So those are the 2 honorable mentions we had for our offensive plays. Connor Riley saying what's up to John Crockett. And now, top 10, Cam Miller's 64-yard touchdown against Montana State. Again, Brent Vegan, where was your defense? I think they were somewhere in Buxton, North Dakota, because they were nowhere to be seen here.
Yeah, when I was at this game, I was like right in line with the line of scrimmage, and I'm like, so no linebackers, easy first down. Oh, the corner's all dipped out too, so this is a touchdown.
I really wonder about what the defense saw here, because there's nobody in the picture. There's no spy. Brock Osler did a great job on the broadcast is showing how this play worked, but it was an obvious bust on the back end by Montana State. Just nothing Montana State was doing on that play that was going to make that play work. Ryan Orton at the Olay. I'm in the background. At the end, number 9, one of the plays Brock Jensen's most known for, his 2-yard touchdown run versus Kansas State in 2013. It's not special, but again, it's to upset Kansas State. It has to be on the list somewhere.
Yeah, kind of every notable quarterback has to be on this list. They all had a signature play like that one.
Speaking of Trey Lance, you talked about Trey Lance earlier in quarterbacks. The 3rd and 23 run against James Madison in the 2019 title game. No spy in the middle. Lance will take advantage of that. And JMU fans will still tell me there's holding on Christian Watson here. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a touchdown, and that basically put the game away.
Yeah, that's just an excuse because Trey Lance was the best athlete on the field at all times.
Yeah, again, you see, Dusty Dvorak doing a great job on the analysis here. He saw a back door open. He took full advantage of it to the end zone. My favorite run in NDSU history, not that it's a semifinal against Georgia Southern, one of the most famous games in Bison history, the 1 cut, see you later. And then it's just a 50-yard sprint to the end zone with Wilcox there, the safety. And then he does the old front flip into the end zone.
This might be one of the loudest the Domes ever was.
Yes.
Because to that point, the offense was kind of struggling a little bit. That just blew it open and obviously created
Watch
one of
Tyler Gimmis stay here, the pulling guard here.
Yeah.
71 coming in your frame, blows up 2 guys, and then Billy Turner just has to stand there to seal the backside. It's one of the most well-blocked plays the Bison have ever run. It's a simple A-gap power. There's nothing special about it. But either the umpire or Wilcox are going to tackle him, and either one of those two are going to be able to catch him on that play. Number 6, the 3rd and 17 flag route against JMU in the 2017 championship game. He scores. I'm in the corner of this end zone when he scores here. Flag route, nobody there, and I'm in that corner right above where those stairs are. I'm in that section, but it was an obvious coverage bust. Jordan Brown, was safety, got sucked inside. Unbelievable play.
This might have been the best throw Stick made in his whole career at NDSU. It was
could have been.
It's definitely up there.
Saw this one back in December. The Bryce Lance one-handed grab. It's self-explanatory. The one hand right there. He has 1 foot with control. Be quiet, Jackrabbit fans. That's a touchdown.
This play needs to be in the pregame hype
Yes,
video.
yes, no doubt.
It's right up there with Talbert's grab. That's
What if Ryan Nelson get on that? That's an unbelievable play. That's obviously earned our top 5 spot on this list again. Just watch it again. Double coverage.
can't guard him.
No, you can't. That might be another first round draft pick next year in Pittsburgh. Number 4, the Carson Wentz game-winning touchdown pass to Darius Shepard. Why is this here? The storyline. Darius Shepard's gonna catch the pass here. He's playing on a shoulder that's 75%, and look at this throw. Boom, in the bucket, double coverage. That's on DeAndre Hall, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Valley that year. Just a perfect throw.
Yeah, you said your favorite play was that Ojuri play, at least one of them. This is probably my favorite play.
You can't throw it any better.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose that game, and they were really close multiple times, they go 8-3 that year. We don't know what happens after that.
No, we don't.
So one of the greatest plays, and deserving of number 4.
In the bucket, double coverage. Here's for all you Division II fans. The pitch, Jeff Bencham to James Molstry. How did Jeff Bencham do that? Is what I will never know.
Yeah, freak of an athlete in the D2 era, and I apologize for the 6 at the end there. That's supposed to be another parentheses.
D2 semifinals was this one in 1985. USD had beaten the Bison of Dakota Dome earlier in the season. This was the semis to go to the championship game. Just diving, falling down, unbelievable play by one of the best. He was a Harlan Hill winner that year. That's the D2 Heisman. Just unbelievable play from one of the best athletes NDSU's ever seen on the football field.
Yeah, most notable play you'll see in the D2 era at NDSU by far.
Yes, no question. Number 2, the Adam Cofield 4th and 1 play. We did use the Midco footage. Adam Cofield, Logan Backus. Not going to get him. Adam Cofield, 71 yards on 4th and a foot to win the rock in Brookings.
Yeah, it's probably the gutsiest play call
Another well
you'll
blocked
see.
play as well.
Yeah, about as gutsy of a play call as it gets. 4th and 1 at your own 29.5 yard line, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt N said after the game the O-line convinced him to go for it, and it worked out.
Number 1, 4th and Frisco, Brock Jensen. No surprises here. Brings raw in motion, quarterback draw. It's blocked perfectly. The only guy who's going to tackle him was the umpire. Just phenomenally blocked, perfectly executed. That's what got him to Frisco in 2012.
Again, gutsy play call. How do you call a quarterback draw on 4th and 3 with the season on the line?
Yeah.
I mean, only Brock Jensen, only clutch players in those moments make those plays happen.
Unbelievable play there to win the semifinal. And let's stop it here, fellas, in the back. We'll get to the top 10 defensive plays in a second. But looking at our first batch of 10, I think we put together a good list here. But again, we'll go with your favorite play was the back shoulder against Northern Iowa. Why is that your favorite play? Let's just talk about this quick.
Well, see, this is probably like the 4th year where I was really starting to go to Bison games a lot. I was still young, and I had never seen the Bison lose up to that point, and that was the year where I'm like, okay, we might lose a couple games this year. Northern Iowa was always really good.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite games ever, and I mean, Shepard was a freshman. Just the storylines, I can't. I don't know how you can beat that.
Yeah, I like it, but it's the storylines that goes with that game. I tried to talk about briefly in the highlight. Darius Shepard's a freshman in this game. He's playing on a shoulder that's 75% healthy. He only played the second half of that game. They didn't play him in the first half. He caught 2 touchdown passes in that half, including that one there, just to keep him in the game. Because, again, it was a back and forth. It was up 3, down 4, up 3, down 4. It was like the whole second half was that kind of tipsy-turvy kind of way of that game. Again, I think the play that I talked about multiple times on this show, the Samuel Jury touchdown run to me, it's not just because he's currently the running back coach here. It's how well that play is blocked. And again, I love listening to Dave Neal's call as well on that play. It's a foot race, and he will win it. That's what made that play good to me. But it's watching Tyler Gimmelstead pull there. Again, I played guard in high school. I know all about pulling and kicking out and whatever. It's watching him come through there and literally pancaking 2 guys, and all Billy Turner has to do is stand there. The easiest block he's ever laid in his life was probably on that play.
And there's something about watching games from the early 2010s. It's just nostalgic, and it gives you chills, honestly.
It does. And D2 fans, you're welcome. James Molstry and Bencher, and they made the list. All right, let's roll the top 10 highlights, guys. So we got a couple honorable mentions to play here before we get to the top 10. There you go. First one, the Nate Tangway interception against JMU 2017 title game. How did he do this?
that and Marquise Bridges' pick in this
Yeah.
game, they lose if that doesn't happen. People forget about this play, I honestly think.
Again, JMU probably threw away this game because Brian Shore threw 2 picks. That was one of them. I still don't know how Nate Tangway did that.
Brian Shore signaling that it hit the ground.
Yeah. This year's semifinal, I will mention Cody Heisman. He's now Virginia Tech, blows up Amar Johnson. He kind of gets blocked into him. The ball comes out. It's not a sexy play by any means, but again, that turned the tide in this game.
Yeah, it brought the crowd right back into it. Because if South Dakota State, if they go down and score here,
Game over.
we're not winning that game.
No.
And LaShaka Oaks, something about him getting recoveries in the semifinals.
Yeah, he's good at it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. He's good at it. And Amar Johnson, again, there's now a Green Bay Packer free agent pickup. Hopefully won't do that. And then the last one, the Levon Perry fumble 6 against New Hampshire. Sean Goldrich, what are you doing? Ball's on the ground. Levon Perry scoop and score. The funny thing is New Hampshire led early in this game. They had a pick 6. They didn't do much after that.
No, I think they were happy to get into this game.
They were.
I think this is where we really, the game we probably knew we were winning already, but that kind of solidified it.
Number 10, the Jackson Dudenheffer sack on 4th and 17 versus Gronowski. They couldn't get to him all year until there. Dudenheffer and LaShaka Oaks. Jeff Page, you have it. You don't play.
Something so satisfying about his final play in the dome,
Yep.
getting sacked to not get to Frisco.
Yep.
And Dudenheffer had a tough year this year.
He
and,
did.
I mean, to get a sack in the semis, that made up for it in my
They
mind.
hadn't touched Gronowski all year until that play. Number 9, the Grant Olson interception. The current defensive coordinator here, Jake Waters, rolling right. He was an okay passer, but not on this play. Trying to find Tremaine Thompson. Grant Olson's all over that for the pick. Again, it's not a great play, but it's an important play.
Yeah, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because of the touchdown that happened before that, but great play.
Again, Jackrabbits again this year. Logan Kopp, this is the regular season meeting, the one-handed pick on Griffin Wilde.
Yeah, this might be my favorite defensive play, honestly, even though it was recency bias come into play, but to not beat the Jacks for so many years in a row, and then Kopp's he's so clutch.
Just the concentration, diving with the ball. Can't do it any better.
Yeah. The dome was about as loud as it's been in years when this happened.
And it was full, which made it even better. It was a capacity crowd that night. Again, night games are special. MJ Stumpf, pick 6 versus Iowa. This set the tone. Pierre G. Tucker coming off the edge.
Boom.
Ball's loose. MJ Stumpf is Johnny on the spot, and he could go all the way for the early lead.
Yeah, you really noticed the Bison lived up to them physically.
Yes.
And, skilled positions, there might have been a gap, but it didn't matter in the end.
Remember, Iowa went on to beat Michigan that year, who would have made the playoff had they not lost to Iowa that year.
That just shows you how good they were that year.
Number 6, the Bryan shot safety, another one of the loudest plays in Dome history. Aaron Bailey back to throw, never gets out of the end zone. Bryan shots the swim move, that sealed the deal.
Yeah, there's always something about playing Northern Iowa that really
in the playoffs,
really scared me. Aaron Bailey was dangerous, and this won the game.
Yep. The top 5, the Travis Beck almost pick 6 for Sam Houston, the 2011 title game. Brian Bell, where's this going? Nowhere. A couple blindside blocks, and then Travis Beck off to the races. Cole Jurek, get out of the way. Brian Bell, just down to about the half-yard line. And then Brock would run it in on the next play. That sealed the deal.
Yeah, you got to give Christian Dudzik a shout out on this blindside block.
Yep.
Boom. But
nowadays that'd be 15 yards.
Yeah, but that's what you got to love football before about 18.
Yep. Number 4, the Jimmy football game-winning interception versus JMU. They bring Brandon Polk out. He's open. Or was he? James Hendricks is right there for the pick to seal it.
Favorite part about this is he was supposed to be guarding the guy in the back of the end zone, and he completely dipped out, he said, and just went for it.
Because the back line is the 11th defender in quote-unquote, what do you want to put that 12th defender. He played it perfectly. Esley Thornton's game-winning pick against Illinois State. Final seconds, Trey Roberson over the middle to Joe Farmer. Why are you throwing to Joe Farmer? I don't know who that is. Esley Thornton over the middle, game over.
Yeah, one of the more memorable plays.
It was out of the blue too when it kind of happened too.
I thought he caught it and was down for sure.
Yes.
I thought we were all overreacting, and look at the replay. It's pretty clear he took it away.
Yeah, he took it away.
Just
rolls over.
Incredible
He's
concentration.
got it right there, and Farmer loses it right there. Roberson's still a DB in the CFL, I believe.
Yeah, incredible athlete.
Oh, freakish athlete.
Aaron Bailey with an actual arm.
Yeah, correct. Top 2 here. Marcus Williams gets 2 highlights versus Minnesota in 2011. Here's the first one. Marquise Gray back to throw at the end of the first half. Picked by Colton Heagle. Marcus Williams saying, pitch, pitch, pitch. Throws it back. Marcus Williams, Minnesota has no idea what's going on, and the Minneapolis, Minnesota native is gone.
Marcus Williams is probably the one guy on the Bison that could have played like any skilled position.
Yeah.
Because he was so athletic. I
Now,
mean,
he wouldn't be here today in the NIL area.
No chance.
Shortell, the backup into the game, he gets picked by Marcus, and let's watch him run.
Fastest guy in the field at all times.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Glenn Mason, the former Gopher head coach on the call, said, might take that away. Nope, they weren't taking that away. That's a clean pick six, and that ended it. And number one, Destin Talbert. Are we really surprised here? Another one of the loudest moments in Dome history. Cole Johnson back to throw. Javier Darrett with the pressure. Oh, my.
This was probably post-COVID era. This is the loudest I've ever heard the Dome because I thought we were going to lose this game.
You got lost. All right, pause it there, guys. Special team stuff, we'll throw that in at the end. But again, I think this was probably, I like this more than their offensive list, to be honest. I think this was pretty concrete as the top 10 here.
Yeah, there's something about defensive plays kind of sealing the deal in most of these games. You talk about Travis Beck, Brian Schatz. Those won the game. Kopp, Talbert.
Yep.
Those are all game-clinching interceptions or sacks, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
This was a fun list to put together.
Again, I think about that Destin Talbert play all the time.
Yeah.
You think about that game and what that meant and the stakes that were in that
Yeah.
game. A, it's the semis. B, it's the last ride for JMU at FCS. All the trash that was talked pregame
yeah.
between those two teams. They did not like one another.
No.
And for it to end on a 3rd and 6 where it looks like JMU is going to go in and take the lead.
Yeah.
That's how it looked to me. Because they got it down, because I remember Van Horst comes out on a little Texas route to get him within that area.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, 3rd and 6, they're probably going to go to Antoine Wells. Turns out they never had to. They went with this, I can't remember the receiver's name he was targeting on that play. I get why they did it, though. It's 6'3" against 5'10", maybe. But I've never seen Destin Talbert make a play like that, ever.
Yeah, and there was a sense in the air, like, we hadn't played JMU at the Dome since that night in 2016.
Yep.
We all remember what happened, but...
In the Dome, yeah.
Yeah, and nobody that played on the Bison in 21 was on that 16 team.
No.
Unless there was any sixth-year guys, I don't think.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, but there was something... I feel like some of those guys really knew what it meant to, like, the alumni to win that game for those guys that walked off the field that didn't get to go to Frisco in 2016. And the fans obviously knew it because they wanted to beat them really bad.
Yeah, that play is one of the all-time favorites for any Bison fan. Again, if you didn't go to that game, I don't think it was a sellout either, which I think was surprising. It wasn't a sellout.
No, it was like 17,000 maybe.
I want to say that. I think they pushed 18. I think it's as high. I think it got 18.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens, but it sure didn't sound like it wasn't a sellout. It was a very good
it's kind
crowd.
of louder than that. We're going to end this by highlighting, because special teams I've been told is 1/3 of the game, so we're going to highlight a little bit of the special teams plays. Roll the special teams highlights. Cash and Henry, special teams plays coming up right now. We have top 5. We have 4 honorable mentions. Punters are people too. Caden Steindorf, the walk-off punt versus Montana State. Doesn't look like anything, but it won a national championship.
Yeah, you can't leave a walk-off punt off of a list like this.
You don't happen very much. So
No.
you got to show them when they get to it.
I'd be willing to say this is probably the only time this has ever happened in Bison history.
Yes, I remember it happened in a BCS title game like LSU Oklahoma. It happened, but it's a rarity to get a walk-off punt. Ben LeCompte, the ESPN player of the game in the quarterfinals of Northern Iowa. He had a lot of great punts throughout the day. This sealed it. James Fisher with the snap. Here's LeCompte's kick here. Nice. Looks like my 5-iron if I can get it down right. Ball bounces off the Bison. DeAndre Hall picks it up. He gets a little bit of gain out of it, but again, that won the game because again, you saw the Aaron Bailey safety later on. Jaden Price, he's tied for the most all-time in punt return touchdowns. This was the one that tied it against South Dakota in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I say there are 12 Bison on this play. Why do I say it? Wait for it. Man in stripes playing a great screen there to get Jaden Price into the open field. 12 on 11. Jaden Price, a nice little brisk stroll into the end zone.
Yeah, this is when we knew the game was over. I mean,
and the worst building to do camera work in is the Dakota Dome. Oh my God.
Terrible.
The fire call, 2012 title game. Adam Keller, throw it up, son. And for some reason, Mike Hardy's in the end zone. Why? No idea, but it's the fire call. He's wide open in the end zone. I don't know how to even describe this play. It was just so out of the blue. Top 5, James Hendricks, the fake field goal against JMU. Kurt Signet's a great coach, right? Well, Matt Enzow coached him on this Saturday morning.
That's about as about as gutsy of a play call as it
Oh,
comes.
yeah.
I mean, in the national
Who's
championship.
that, by the way? 88. That's Cody Mount blocking out
Yeah,
there
it
for
is.
him, by the way. Bruce Anderson kick return 2015. Bruce Anderson was a kick return legend his redshirt freshman
Yes.
year in Fargo. Return against Montana. Looks like he stopped in traffic and he somehow finds the back door, and he is gone.
I sound like a broken record, but this was also one of the loudest the Domes ever was because, I mean, you go down by 3 at half at Northern Iowa, you don't know if you're going to win that game.
Again, the legs are churning, everything. He wills this play to happen, and
As a
that's all you
freshman.
can ask.
And he was only a freshman.
Only a freshman.
Back when you could look forward to having a freshman for another 3
Correct.
years.
Number 3, Bozeman block. Hunter Pontius, where are you at? Casey Kautzman, ugh. He was low all day. He missed a couple field goals. That did not help in the overtime game.
Yeah, you see how frustrated Brendan Vegan is at the end here. Starts ripping his coat off.
He may have found his headset by then. We still have no idea. Cam Peterson, the game winner against Iowa, 37-yarder, sneaks that sucker inside the right upright. All-time upset.
Luckily, he made that because he probably one of his few highlights that year at NDSU. But
he's like top 3 in points scored. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
You missed. What's up, Kirk Ferentz? All right. Carlton Littlejohn, the block field goal. This was the loudest the Dome ever got. Drew
Yes.
Ruggles, the soccer player. Way too long, my friend.
Greg Bull described it as a constant headache with how loud it was.
And then I love the referee here. Once this happens, and watch the referee come in here. Hands up. No. Flag down. That's what we're talking about. Ruggles just a step too long. That's all it took.
Yeah,
That ball's got to be gone by then.
the kickers got no business being in that game
No.
at all.
So those were the 3 segments that we had. Again, my favorite will always be the UNI one in 2015 because I remember. Now, my dad, I went because we sat like a section apart from each other. We didn't even know it at the time. We just sat near each other, and we were walking back from halftime because we're like, "That's a kickoff. Nothing's gonna happen." Again, we went to another suite because my dad's a banker. He was meeting with clients, or I can't remember what we were in there for. We're walking back towards our seats, and then I hear a loud roar and the fireworks go off. I'm like, what the heck happened? And you get like, what happened? Oh, Bruce scored. What?
Yeah.
Bruce Anderson scored another kick return? No, he just did that last week. But no, he did that in that game, and that's what again, all these plays are legendary. But that Brewster's UNI, again, the blocks are great, but I think the kick return is just as special.
Yeah, that was a moment I'll never forget just because how loud it was. Because, like I was saying, I mean, Northern Iowa, you're down at 3 at half. You're questionable if you're going to win that game.
Yeah.
And the crowd was into it, and
Yeah.
that was the first year they got to wear the Harvest helmets in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was the first game. That's a little something to remember. But that was Bruce Anderson was a freak of nature, and he started as a true freshman. I mean, nobody does that, and especially back then when everyone redshirted.
Yeah, because I remember about that game. I was trying to find the total yardage. The Bison couldn't score.
No.
Nobody could score in this game. So, just on the top of your head, who had more total yards in that game?
I'm going to say Northern Iowa.
You'd be wrong, Jim Nance. It was 269 to 221. NDSU actually had more total yards in that game. They had more first downs. They had more time of possession. But again, they bled out the last 3 minutes after the safety, so that definitely helped.
Yeah.
But it's surprising that, again, because that was the last year where you thought Northern Iowa could win a national championship.
Yeah,
if
for
they
sure.
got out of Fargo, they probably could have won a national championship. But again, Mark Farley, Skeletor falling short once again in a playoff game, and now it's up to Todd Stepsis to pick up the pieces. I like that hire, by the way, Northern Iowa. We got a good one in Todd Stepsis. But again, final thoughts on the top 10 before we finish this up?
No, I think I had a good list. I think our people will probably have something to say, like they always do, but it's the criteria.
We got the D2 in there for you.
Yeah.
So
there are incredible plays out there, but it has to be a big moment because the big players come up in the biggest moments, and I think we did it well.
like some off the top of my head I was thinking of 2007, Steve Walker to Cole Heckendorf against Sam Houston. That probably could have been in there. What was another one I was thinking about?
But again, the people that watch this are probably college age kids.
Except for the one guy who's
Yeah.
talking to us about Division II
That's
stuff.
true.
Because again, there's probably a play that we don't know about that we just couldn't find on video. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Brock Jensen, Georgia Southern, 2011.
Oh yeah.
When he was sick that week, and he that 50-yard like naked reverse, I want to call it, where he just kind of rolls out to his left and runs. That was another one we could have.
You know what that story reminds me of? Because that was a semifinal.
Yeah.
All the guys are sick. the Patriots in 2004 in the AFC Championship game against the Steelers. All of them are sick the night before.
Yeah.
Go out and beat the snot out of the Steelers. But
It was 41-27. It wasn't.
I mean,
it wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't a butt kicking, but it was still good.
but and then the Bison obviously 35-7. So that's, I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of that.
Again, I'm sure you will have comments for us below if we missed any. I'm sure you will, but respect our decision when it comes to these rankings, okay? Just want to talk about, so this is season 5 finale. Season 6, you know, start again in the fall. We're going to have a lot to do in the fall.
Yes.
Because it'll be Bison football all the time.
Yep.
Because there'll be new opponent every week. We'll have a lot of new stuff to do and talk about. What we want to do more is do what I want to call film room. So we'll be in the studio. We'll have a monitor here. Hopefully we can, I've been talking to a buddy of mine, Brennan Palmer. May have heard of him. He's on the national title team this last year. Hopefully we'll have him in here and break down some film, because I think breaking down the film
Yes.
it's, again, none of us are
No.
Sean McVay or Kevin O'Connell by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But it'll be fun to do and talk about. Again, maybe we could do a telestrator thing. We'll talk to Jeff about how to do that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a fun season, number 6.
Yeah, I think we bring in good knowledge of what the
Yeah.
teams are. I mean, I didn't play football past middle school, so I can't break down film or any of that stuff.
I can tell you, I can tell you how to pull and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how the science and the X's and O's behind the Bison offense or defense.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So that's all we got for this season of Bison Overtime. It's been a blast. Ethan, thanks for stepping in with me. So for Ethan
Yep.
Eibach and our entire crew in the back, this is Grant Hubbard saying so long. This has been the Bison Overtime Show. Horns up and go Bison.